Okay, so here at the craft table, normally I like to start off the show showing you what we've created. We've not created it yet. We've created the stuff in Design Space. So we're gonna do this all together and we're gonna have the finished product here on the table as soon as our show is over. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop overhead and let's just talk about the supplies that you're gonna need. So, sorry, we've got some moss here. Today we are going to be making a shirt with this design. So you're going to need some type of shirt, whether it's a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. We have a t-shirt and a couple sweatshirts for us to choose from. And then of course you are going to need heat transfer vinyl. Other than that, you are going to need some type of mat. We have our Nikapa light grip mat here. You obviously need a weeding tool and a Cricut Mini Easy Press, which I'm gonna have Sadie hop out into the studio and grab for me because I don't see one in here.
I got you, girl.
I think there's one on my table.
Okie dokie.
So, other than that, which honestly you should probably already have these things in your craft room. That's about all we're gonna need for today's project. Like I said, this is going to be a very Design Space heavy project. So when we hop in Design Space, thank you, I'm going to need you all to hone in, come back to me when we get there and really pay attention because there is a lot of manipulation with these. A lot of things that you will get lost if you're not paying attention. So let me plug this in real quick and then we are gonna hop on over and we're gonna get started designing. Yeah. And I'm gonna move all of this to the side. And 2 seconds. Beautiful. So now we're gonna hop over to our share screen. And here is the finished product for today's little sweatshirt or shirt. This is what we're gonna be creating. You can see here we have the names. This one says Emerson, Riley, Mallory, and Henry with all of their birth flowers at the top. I mean, y'all, I just think this is so cute.
It is so darling.
It is so cute. Sharna says, you look like you've been shrinking. Girl, I've not been. We had 2 weeks off. I was telling Brooks this earlier because he also said the same thing. And I swear, I think I worked more the 2 weeks we are off than I'm not saying I don't work here, but I did more physical labor the 2 weeks we were off than I do here. So
you're just a hustling lady.
I just try. Okay. So let's go ahead and hop back to our share screen. We're gonna go over to makersgonnalearn.com and I'm gonna show you how to find the flower that you need based on the month that you need. So you would think on our website, just type in birth flower. You really need to type in the month that you need, and all of those flowers are gonna be linked in the description of the YouTube video as well. So for example, let's just say we're doing May. You're going to type in May as in the month May, and then you're going to search, and then you can, once it comes up, if it's gonna load, there we go, which May's gonna bring up a lot more than just flowers. May is Lily of the Valley. So these are named with the month in the front and then the actual name of the flower at the end. So you kind of have to have an idea of what the birth flower is for each month. Like I said, go down in the description of this YouTube video and you can get it there. So I'm just going to show you how we're gonna do this with 1 month. And then we may play around with some others because there are gonna be some that are gonna be a little bit harder than others, but let's just start with this one. So to download a file from the Makers Gonna Learn website, you're gonna click this little arrow pointing down. What that is going to do is it is going to download it, and you can see up here in our downloads, it's going to download it as a zip file. So the reason that it downloads as a zip file is because we offer you both an SVG and a PNG version of most all of these files. I'm not gonna say every single one. One good example, this one right here is more than likely just gonna be offered in a PNG version because it kind of has that watercolor effect behind it. So things that are labeled print and cut normally just come in the PNG version. But other than that, like this one would have an SVG and a PNG. This one's gonna be an SVG and a PNG. Most all of our files, we try to give you both SVG and the PNG. So if you see it as a zip folder, that's why. So we're gonna double click that to open it up. You can see here it's zip. We double clicked it to unzip it, and here we can open up that folder, and you can see now that you have access to a PNG and an SVG. Dot says, is this similar to the garden flag you did a year ago? Yes, it is similar, but it's just a little bit different, but very, very similar. So once you have downloaded the months that you need, we are going to go back to Maker's Gonna Learn, because I like to grab everything that I need at the beginning, and then that way I have everything when I hop over to Design Space. I don't have to upload, go back and forth multiple times. I just like doing it all and batching things. So now I know that I need to go to my fonts because we are using a very specific font for this project today. And we are going to be using Sweetgrass is the name. Now this font does have glyphs that has the little swoosh at the end of the letter, and that's really gonna help you. It's going to be very important that you use a font that has glyphs like that for this project. So once again, to download anything from our website, you're gonna click this arrow pointing down. With fonts, you are going to install it onto your computer, so it's a little bit different than just downloading files. So we're gonna click that arrow pointing down. What's gonna happen now is you are still going to double click this. It is then going to come into your downloads as an OTF. So that's an open typeface font. What you are going to do from there is you are going to double click this. Now, if you are on a Mac, you double click. If you're on a PC, you may have to hit Control or Command or right click it and extract the font before you upload it into your character map. So they're called two different things, HP versus Mac. If it's a Mac, it's called a font book. That's where all of your fonts live. If it's a PC, it's called a character map. It's the exact same thing, just two separate names. So we're gonna double click this to open it up, and then I'm gonna click Install Font. Now, if you want to see if a font has glyphs, open up either your font book or your character map, and then we're gonna scroll down to the bottom, which we're already here at the bottom. So once it uploads, it'll come in and it'll pop in here. This is your regular font. If you are just to go top, here are your uppercase letters, here are your lowercase letters. But if you scroll on down past the letters with like the umlauts and all that stuff, tildes, I'm trying to think of all the different ones. If you scroll on down, you can see that there are glyphs. What this means is these certain letters will go together certain ways. So like a double T. Do they have a double T in here? Yeah, so here is a double, no, that's an I and a double T. But you can see different letters, like I said, different letters will go together differently. That could be a glyph, or scrolling on down here, we can see that these letters have the swoosh on the end, and then we have some letters that have the swoosh on the front. This is going to be super important for this font, or for this project, like I said. If you want to use a different font, if you don't like this one and you want to use a different font, you can check them out. Let me find another I'm just trying to think of one that may have more glyphs. Is Max Patch? Yes, okay, Max Patch is one that also has glyphs. You can see here, this is just normal, or if when we scroll down, Max Patch has different glyphs that has like little curly cues or swooshes at the end. This one would be another good one that you could use for this specific project if you wanted to. So just keep in mind, that's how you look for fonts that have glyphs, and you can go through and pick one and see if it has a glyph or not, okay? Sorry, I was just reading some of your all's comments. Once we have that downloaded, we are ready to start designing. So we are going to pop over to Design Space. Now, another thing that you need to be aware of, if you have not used a font before, so for example, Sweetgrass may be a new font for you and you're not finding it in Cricut Design Space, what you need to always do once you download a new font onto your computer for Cricut Design Space to recognize that font, you need to come up here to where it says View, and you need to reload Design Space. What that is going to do is it is kind of going to restart Design Space, and it's going to pick up anything new that has been downloaded onto the computer that you can use in Design Space. It's going to pick that up. So pretty much if you download a new font, if you restart Design Space, it's going to pick up that new font in the software so that you can use it within the software as well. So make sure you reload, but if you have been working on something, make sure you hit that save button before you go and reload Design Space. Okay? Perfect. Now, if we are all ready, let's go ahead and start the design process.
Let's go.
So I'm gonna come over here to upload. I'm going to upload image. I'm gonna pull in my Finder just because I'm a drag and drop girly. For sure, a drag and drop girly. So I love to bring in my Finder. That way I can drag and drop exactly what I need into that box instead of having to go and try to find it. So I'm just gonna drag and drop that in there, and then we are just going to upload this into Design Space. This is an SVG. We do want it as multiple layers. We don't want it as a flat graphic. If you choose flat graphic, it's going to turn it into a PNG. Like I said, we're wanting it to be an SVG, so we do it as, you can select multiple layers. This has no other colors, so we're just gonna select single layer. One color image, that's all we need. Continue, and then upload this onto our canvas, which it comes in huge. Huge. So we're just gonna size this down. Beautiful. And now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add a text box. I'm gonna come over here to my fonts. I'm going to my system fonts because we are looking for Sweetgrass. MGL Sweetgrass. And now we are ready to start designing everything. So I'm just gonna use my name because May is my birth month, and I will just go from there. So first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna type the name out first. Why does this, oh, this is weird. It keeps popping up to edit, double click the text. Like I didn't already know that. That must be new. That must be a new feature in Design Space. Not sure. Now, before I turn this sideways to start kind of fixing this the way that I want it, and before I start slicing things apart, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my glyphs and I'm gonna make my name look like similar to what I want. So I know that I need an L kind of with the tail on it, so I'm gonna come back over to my font book. I'm going to go to the MGL Sweetgrass. Okay, beautiful. And I am going to, actually, I'm gonna up the, oh, is that? I'm gonna up the size a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. and I'm going to find the L that has a tail on the front. There may not be one, but we're gonna find out. Well, there's one, but that's not really what I'm looking for. That's an L on the end. I mean, I guess that's good enough. So to use a glyph in your design, select it. You can see here it's selected because it has turned blue. From there, I'm going to Command C, and what that does is copies it, and then I'm going to toggle back over to Design Space. I'm going to double click that so that I am editing the text, and then I'm going to Command V it right back in there. It's really that simple. We're going to do it again together, but we're going to do it for the end. So I'm going to delete this N. I'm going to toggle back over to my font book. I'm going to find the N that has the tail at the end of it, like this one. Going to highlight it to make sure that it is selected. Command or Control C. So we're copying. A lot of times if you're on a PC, you can just right click and copy. You can use keyboard shortcuts. It's harder to right click on a Magic Mouse, and because of that, I like to use keyboard shortcuts. So for me, it's Command C. For you, it might be Control C. But we're just going to copy, and then I'm going to hop back over to Design Space. Now I'm still in editing mode because that cursor is flashing, and I'm just going to paste that back in there. And that's it. It's really that simple. Boom. And now you have the stem of your flower. You have a little bit at the bottom and you have a little bit here to work with. So now we're ready to turn this sideways at 270 degrees. Also, I don't know if you all know this, but let's just say you start here. You can manually shift and rotate this way by hovering. So if it has the diagonal arrow, that's going to be up and down. The sideways arrow is going to be out, and that's just moving your text box. And then that curved arrow is where you can do this. But if you are a very precise person and you like to make things even, I like to come up here to this top where it says rotate, and I know my degrees, and I know that I need it to go, if it went 90, it's gonna be opposite. So the L is gonna be toward the flower and the N is gonna be at the bottom, which that might be the look you're going for, if that's what you want. So I know I need 270 degrees. I'm just gonna type in 270, and it does it perfectly up and down for me. Just a little hacky hack for you guys. So now that you have your name with the glyphs exactly how you want it, we're going to start manipulating the flowers. Now this is where it might get a little bit tricky depending on what flower that you use. And another thing that you all can think about is possibly using parts of the stem as like pieces in the flower as well. And I'll show you how you could do that with certain ones, okay? So what we're gonna do now, I want this middle portion here for sure to be the top part of my flower. So I'm going to grab a shape. I'm just gonna grab a square. I'm gonna pull it over here, and I'm actually going to change it from a basic shape to a guide. Now, the reason that I'm turning this to a guide is because I can see through this guide to see exactly where this is going to cut, okay? And that's why for the longest time, I did not know that you could slice with the guide. So I do really enjoy slicing with the guide and making sure that I get it exactly the way that I want it. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get as much of the stem and as little of these edges as I can. Now, before I slice it, just in case I do something wrong, I always like to duplicate what I'm working on so I don't have to go back to my uploads and add it back to my canvas. I just like to duplicate it so I have the same size. But once you kind of have it even, you are ready to slice. Now, you are going to get little bits and pieces in there. Trust me, you are, but that's okay. I'm gonna show you how to get rid of it, okay? So once we have it positioned where we wanted it, I'm going to drag and select both my guide and my lily of the valley that we're working with. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna duplicate my guide as well and just move it over to the side so that I have another one of those. So you have them both selected. We're gonna come down here to the bottom where it says slice, and we're going to slice these two pieces apart. Think of this like a cookie cutter. We are slicing through the cookie dough and we want just one single thing of the cookie. So I'm gonna delete this out, delete that, and now I have this piece that I can manipulate, okay? So what I'm going to do to manipulate this now, if you wanted to, we could come back in here and slice all of these off, but let me zoom in and I'll show you. Because none of these pieces over here are touching this middle piece that I want, I can come here to contour and I can contour out all of these other little tiny pieces. And I don't have to go to slice anymore. I can just contour them out. And now I am left with a beautiful floral stem that I can now bring in and make fit here. Now this might be a little tricky. You see how it's kind of wonky there. We're gonna play around with it and we're gonna make it work because I don't think this looks good because that's way too far away. That doesn't look good. So we're just gonna play around with a few little things. I do kind of think this one looks good, but I think it would look better if we had some little lily of the valley coming off of this side and maybe even this side, which is why I decided to keep this piece here so that I can now manipulate and add more. Sharna says, could you flip it? Absolutely, you can flip this and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's flip it this way. We can flip it and it does look really good when you flip it and it goes very well with that. So if you wanted to just use one stem, what I would do if that was me, let's just go ahead. Let's duplicate this and I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. So we're going to duplicate both of these. I'm going to show you how I would do it to make it connect this way, and then let's flip this one back the opposite way, back to where it was, and I'll show you how I would connect it. Let's say if I wanted to connect it down here and add more lily of the valley on the other side, okay? So if I were to flip it, this is what I would do to make this work, because right now I still don't feel like, let me zoom out just a little bit and let me move these over here out of this way so that I can kind of see what we're doing. Beautiful. So I still don't think that it lines up as much as I would like for it to here. We can manipulate and move this around, but I really want this to look seamless. So we did use glyphs, but this still needs to be cut off. So I'm going to kind of, let's change this to pink right now so that I can see where we're at. And now I'm going to, once again, come over here to my shapes. I'm gonna grab a square. We're going from basic cut to guide. We're gonna make it a lot smaller. Beautiful. And I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to place that guide exactly where I want it to slice off the end of that letter N. And we can also move that. I think that fits better. maybe even, that stem is pretty long. So let's cut it off there. I think it fits there. And then let's move our guide. Zoom in if you have to. We're at a 600 right now. So now you can see our guide and our flower touch exactly where it needs to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, oh, that's my slice result. I don't need that. Is that it? There we go. All I'm going to do is hide this. I'm not moving it. I'm not touching it. I'm just selecting it from my layers panel and I'm gonna hide it like this. Now you can see we have our guide and our name. So I am going to select this guide and select the name. We're gonna have to zoom out so you can see a little bit better. Oh, wrong name. We're gonna select both of these and now we're gonna slice again. So we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna maybe hold on to it, maybe not get rid of it necessarily right now, and then pop our flower back in there. We can change the color of our flower now back to black, and then select these both, combine, unite. Ta-da!
So cute.
And it's all going to be about manipulation. This whole project is going to all be about manipulation and manipulating these names and flowers to fit together to make it look seamless. So once again, you can see we've done that here. So let me go back over here and show you what I would do if, let's say, the design called for the flower going the opposite way. So it's just finding, the trick with this project is finding where the florals look the best and how it flows with the name. No matter what name, no matter what floral piece it is, it's all about finding what works and maybe even trying something different. So remember I said I wanted to try something going this way, but that it was missing something here. So in my brain, it looks like it would look good if maybe I cut off like this little guy here. So once again, just in case I need any more, I'm gonna duplicate that, move it to the side, keeping the size of the flower the same because you don't wanna change that. We're going to come back over here and I want it to be a pretty solid slice. So let's do it this way. And I'm going to slice off just these little guys here to kind of come off the edge of this and just right over there, just kind of like lay over there. So we're gonna select both of these and I'm going to come down here to the bottom. I'm going to select slice. And then we will get rid of these and then bring this over. Now, it's not looking exactly like I thought it would look. But that's why that we can still manipulate this a little bit more. I think that I should have sliced it a little closer, maybe. Let's see. Oh no, I just squished it. That also doesn't look right to me. It's all about manipulation and playing around with it. So I'm gonna grab another shape. We're gonna grab a square again and we'll turn it into a guide again. And I think maybe we need to try these little guys, like the ones just right off the side here. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm going to manipulate this like that. Bring that over to that edge as close as I can. Now I know I'm gonna have to contour. I can see right there I'm gonna have to contour a little bit out. And now let's zoom in just a little bit more so that I'm not beautiful. And we will select here, select both of these and we're gonna slice. And then we'll get rid of this and this and this, and then we'll contour out that guy at the top. Now let's see if we can zoom out and see if these fit better than the ones that I was talking about. So I do actually, I think I like that better than what I was thinking. And one thing you can do, what I do love about this is we can overlap these two, and once we bring them together, you won't be able to see that, which this is, let me show you what I mean. Let me change this color to pink. You see how these are overlapping? Not a problem, because when we go back and we combine them together, it's all going to become one image. So let's go ahead and change this back to black. And let me change the name to black because I think it comes in as that gray color. Anyway, I don't hate this at all, and I actually don't even mind that little guy there. So it's just about manipulation and finding what works for the names that you are working with and the design that you are going for. And then once you get everything placed exactly where you want it, then you're going to select every little piece in that. Make sure you come down here to combine and unite that together, and then it all becomes one layer. It really is that simple. So let's work with another flower. I feel like Lily of the Valley could be pretty simple sometimes. So let's work with another flower. Let's go back, because honestly, repetition and you all seeing somebody doing it and seeing different ways of doing it is going to help you the most. So Sadie, you are
I'm an
August baby. That's what I thought.
Yes.
August. So let's go with August. August is poppies. Poppies are some of my favorite.
I love them so much.
Poppies are beautiful. So we're gonna do Sadie's name, and I'll show you what I would do for Sadie's, especially because the poppy one, there are multiple pieces in this. So I just wanna make sure you all know exactly how to do this. So once again, we're gonna download the flower that we need. You're gonna make sure you unzip that file. We're gonna pop back over to Design Space. We're gonna grab a text. We're still using Sweetgrass, so we'll do Sadie. And then we will go to Uploads. We're gonna upload image. We're gonna bring our Finder back into view. We're going to pull in the SVG of the poppy. We're gonna go to Continue. And then we're going to upload. Now, once again, this comes in very large, so we're just going to size it down accordingly. And then we need to go ahead and grab those glyphs for this font. So we're gonna pop our font book back in here. We are going to find the S that has the tail on the front side. Maybe. There it is. We're going to copy. We're gonna go back to Design Space. And we're going to paste that S in there. Go back to the font book. We are going to find the E that has the tail at the end. Actually, what was the other font? Max Patch. Let's try it with Max Patch, just so you all can see how we do it with a different font. So let me grab another text box. Let's go over here to Max Patch. Now, Max Patch is a lot thicker, so you do have to keep that in mind. It may not work for Max Patch. Let me just, let's look and see what it looks like. I can already tell you it's probably not going to, because that's really, really thick. But let's just see let's see what the glyphs looks like. And if it's too bad, then we'll just not do it. But I'm gonna play around with it just so you all can see. OPQR, there's an S. Do we want the little, I think I like these better. S here, copy. Nope, I don't want it all. I'm just gonna delete this and paste. Oh wow, that's a really long tail. So it may be more, so if you have a longer name, Max Patch may work better. It just depends. So we now need to grab that E, which is here, copy, and paste. And then we're gonna rotate it 270 degrees. Now, like I said, this is a pretty, but honestly, once we get those glyphs on there, it gives me a lot more room to work with the stem. So maybe it will work. So I'm just gonna show you how it would work with a different font with glyphs. Because I do think we have a poppy. Yes, Emerson is also an August baby. So you can see here for this one, what we have done with this poppy, we've just added the floral piece to the very end of it. You can still do that with this one, or you can play around with it a little bit. Let's see what we come up with. So the first thing, once again, coming back over here to shapes, we're gonna grab a shape. We're going to change it from a basic cut to a guide. That way we can just see through it and know exactly what we're slicing. And then we're going to size this accordingly. I do want to duplicate this because I know that I want another piece to this, I think. And we'll make this a little bit longer so that we have more of this stem to work with. And then we are going to select both of these and slice. We'll move this away, delete, delete. And then we're going to contour out those other pieces that we don't need. Contour, contour, contour. Does anyone have any questions so far? Have you been seeing any questions, Sadie?
Not so far.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, it's all about going with the flow of the font. And right here, this curve in this font wasn't really matching with the stem of that flower. So I'm once again gonna grab a shape. We're changing it to a guide. Yes, I know that we did add that glyph in there, but we want to, we wanna make sure everything works and flows together, okay? So what I'm doing, I feel like this flower will fit right there pretty well. I might rotate it just a smidgen here in just a second, but I think that's where I want the flower piece to start. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hide that, select both of these, and then we're gonna slice the end of that glyph off really quickly. And then we're going to bring the poppy back in, and then I think I'm just going to rotate it just a smidgen to fit that a little bit better. This is where you're gonna have to take advantage of this zoom. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Making the flower bigger looks better. So now we're just going to make these both the same color, and then we'll zoom out and combine, unite. Boom. I mean, I don't hate that. It looks more like a single stem flower.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So it's really just going to depend on what you like and what you want. Now, I do think it would be really pretty to add one of these leaves on the side. So I'm gonna show you how I would do that. Let's go ahead and delete this out. And let's grab another box. We're just slicing away, guys, just slicing away. Changing it from a basic cut to a guide. We're gonna zoom back in. Once again, I just need this little leaf, but I have to make sure it gets cut off so I can contour out everything else. Like I have to make sure it's its own little person here, about like that. Select these, slice. We're gonna see how this slice result turns out. Not really I think we can make it work. I can work with this. Okay, contour, we're gonna contour this. We're gonna contour up here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this leaf over here. Right there. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I think I need to slice this little guy off. I know this is just me being meticulous, but y'all, the devil is in the details. Trust me. If you want it to look good, the devil is in the details. So we're just going to slice that little tail off there. Select these, slice, get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of that. Bring that there. Oh no, I just moved it. Hold on. Okay, let's move this back where I want it. That's not it. Turn it just a smidgen. That's where I want it. Select all of that, combine, unite. Boom.
Boom.
Is that something that I have missed?
Is it a little tiny speck?
Do you see that little tiny speck?
Girl, I am blind. I can't see nothing.
Undo, unite. Hold on. That's not where it's at. Where is it at? Or is it on the screen? Nope, it's moving with that. It is moving with that. So let's come back to undo, unite, and figure out where that speck is coming from. There. It's right here. Where is it?
I see it on my screen. It's like a little flea. It's so small.
It's so tiny.
You really had me thinking I had something on my screen too.
Okay, let's figure it out. Let's work with it again. I bet it's all, there it is. There it is. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it, guys.
Yay.
Beautiful. Now let's just move this back. Move this over here where we want it. We're going to select them all, combine, and unite them back together. Beautiful.
Cute.
Love it. And that's it. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Max Patch is the second font that I used. Just in case you were curious, I really like the Sweetgrass. It all just depends on what style you're going for, to be real honest. Oh, there's something in there that I think, yep, that Holly forgot to contour this little guy right there. Did you see that?
It was so tiny.
Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm actually just going to delete out mine and Sadie's names.
Forget us.
Bye, guys. And we're going to cut this other one, and we are going to make this sweatshirt. I'm going to make sure the sizing is correct. So if you are doing this as a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, whatever, what you're going to do, you do need to measure your area that you're working with. So let me grab a measuring. I literally just had one on this table.
There's a measuring tape over here. Like this.
Got
Okay.
it. Appreciate it, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is currently 7.5. So we want it a little bit bigger. I think I want it to go, we'll go to 11.5 or 11. So I'm going to size this up. I'm just going to keep the size aspect ratio locked here, and I'm going to change that from 7.6 to, let's go to 11.5. Beautiful. Let's zoom out, make sure we still look good. So that means that it is 6 inches in height. If it's 11.5, let's go back down to 11 inches in width. And that makes it like 5 inches in height, which is more of what I'm looking for. So I like the 11 inches in width, 5 inches in height. Beautiful. Okay, back to share screen. We are going to the make it screen. We are cutting this on a 12 by 12 mat with black HTV. I did not mean to do that. That should have been deleted. Let's just hide that object. And now what we are going to do is we are going to mirror our design, okay? From there, we're gonna go to continue. Somebody did ask a question. Let's see, where did you find the font book? Doris, if you will if you're talking about the font book on your computer, if you will just, if you have a Mac and you command spacebar, you're gonna pull up your Spotlight search and you just type in font book from there. If you're on a PC and you go down to the bottom left corner where it says like your hub, it's kind of the start menu. If you go down there, there should be a search bar. If you're on a PC, you're gonna have to type in character map, okay? So, now that we are there, back to our share screen, we're cutting this on everyday iron-on with our fine point blade, and we are going to load this bad boy in, and we are going to turn our mini easy press on. Anyway, we're going to use our True Control knife. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm leaving this on the mat, but I am cutting away the excess. Like these. And this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to have to use the pen tool with because she's tiny. In the middle of these holly berries, they're gone. They gone. They gone. This may have been a little overambitious of me, actually. We probably could have just stopped at the design, but we're going, we're seeing it through. We got to see it through, my boy. Got to see it through. I'm almost done weeding. There's like 3 more. Oh no, nope, we don't need you to turn off. I'm just about ready. I know, I'm a slowpoke, I get it. I just was overly ambitious and did not think of how much this was going to be to weed when I cut it. Okay, we're done.
She's cute.
We're done? Or we're done. I'm just checking and making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. I think we're good. I don't need to iron my hair in there though, so let me get that off. Beautiful. So now, all we're gonna do, I'm going to line this up. Little hack, I like to find the middle by placing my designs side by side and then getting that middle line there. And now I can line it up with the middle line of the crease of the shirt, like that. And then we're ironing this down. Mini easy press, heat setting of 2. And after this, we're gonna do a peel and we'll be done. I think this is this might be a shirt for Holly's mom. She gonna be excited. And that's it. Look how cute.
That is so darling.
I love it.
That's so cute. I need to make one for my Nana. I feel like every year we always